4 of Denver's 6 mayoral candidates, incumbent Michael Hancock, Lisa Calderon, Jamie Gillis, and Penfield Tate III, participated in the 9 News debate on Wednesday. All 6 of the candidates participated in a debate in this very studio with yours truly that will broadcast on April 26th at 9 p.m. Growth and how it has been handled and how it should be handled was a key topic in both debates. David, from what we've seen so far in the Denver mayoral race and these issues, is it resounding with voters? Do you think is it getting kind of the juice an election like this deserves?
I haven't been out on the streets doing sampling, but I will say that voters who are interested would have benefited a lot from watching that debate, which they can watch on replays on TV. Cal Clark was very well informed and had good, challenging, interesting, and important questions, and all 4 of the candidates were also very articulate and well informed. You have 2 of the challengers, Gillis and Tate, who are partly in the managerial lane. That's what a key thing they're offering is better management. Tate also having sort of the difference between Mayor Pena and Mayor Webb, with the latter being the one who says, I'm going to be the one who listens to the neighborhoods instead of having all the big decisions made around a conference table in the city and county building with the Chamber of Commerce and Mr. Big and Mrs. Big, but the regular folks excluded. And then you have Lisa Calderon, I think, taking the leftmost lane. She's the only one who favors repeal of the camping ban, and a lot of her argument is she's the candidate of the most marginalized people in Denver, including but not limited to homeless. One of the most concerning things I heard was Tate and Calderon both want rent control in Denver, and economists disagree on many things, but one thing they're nearly unanimous on is you might as well drop a bomb on the city that destroys all the buildings and leaves the people with rent control. It is incredibly destructive to the housing stock, and it will soon bring to a halt the expansion of new rental properties and the repair and renovation and improvement of existing ones. It's been a disaster everywhere it's tried. It would be horrible if that were ever implemented.
Eric, the rent control apocalypse notwithstanding, what have you taken from the campaign so far for the mayoral race, which also includes, we should note, Caitlin Heffernan and Chairman Sekou Evans? And if you're looking for it's public policy, but if you're looking for some good TV on the 26th at 9 p.m., trust me, it's pretty interesting to have all 6 of them. Eric.
I watch most of the 9 News debate, not live, but on the web later on. I didn't see anyone really having, of the 3 challengers, having a breakout moment or really using the forum to rise above their competitors. This is clearly a race of Hancock or not Hancock. And the question is, can the not Hancock vote be broken up among Tate and Calderon and Gillis? Can it get to 50%? And presumably well over 50%, so you don't have a runoff where Hancock only has to grow his margin by a point or 2. I don't know. I do 2 kinds of sampling. David mentioned being out around town. I've done that a little more, and I bump into 2 kinds of sampling. And again, it's all with Michael Hancock as the pivot point. And one is anybody but Hancock, and that is the dominant sampling I'm doing. But again, I run in a limited circle. We all run in our own bubbles. The second one is the opposite opinion is, no, Hancock might have his weaknesses, but none of the other 3 have impressed me sufficiently to bounce him out of office. And I think that's what this race comes down to, is can one of them or the totality of the 3 of them offer a compelling case for change in a city where a whole lot is going well, but the main criticism is in many cases it's going too well.
Natasha, ballots go out this week. Votes are being cast as we sit here. How do you think it's going to go?
I'm going to make a prediction. There is a winner. It is the people of Denver. When you have a competitive election like this, you get good ideas. And 5280 actually had a chance to interview all the candidates. We have a story up and actually talked to them about 9 key issues that we think are happening in the city right now, including some of the things we've already talked about: growth, infrastructure, Initiative 300, and things like that. And what I found really interesting in talking to them is they all have big ideas. And I think when you have a competitive election like that, it pushes people to come up with those big ideas, which could really set a path forward for Denver. And I think that's exciting.
I will underscore what Natasha said. This voters in Denver are lucky, I think, even from connections from this table. Not only do you have some great pieces in 5280, Ed Seelever did a great piece of the Denver Business Journal breaking down a lot of issues, especially transportation. And our own Miss Calhoun's paper, Westward, has great interviews with each of the candidates. Patty, where do you think it's going to go from what we know so far?
Well, and including Chairman Sekou, do not miss his. His use of capital is very interesting. What's making this one different, besides the fact that it's such a robust conversation, which is good. I mean, we've had big groups of mayoral candidates before who've been impressive. The mail-in ballot, the fact that this is one, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think it's the first big contested incumbent election where everyone is getting a ballot at home. So the people who are anybody but Hancock, all they have to do is sit at their kitchen table and decide who they want to vote for or who else they want to vote for. By the same token, that's all a Hancock supporter has to do. But it could really shift what's going to happen. You don't have to go to a ballot box to vote. So that could really shift it. I think that alone will be the reason we go into a runoff, because there are enough people who are going to say, I want to change. I'm not sure who I want, but I want to change, and I think that'll move it. And of course, all these psilocybin voters will also help put that over the top.
I'm glad they have a couple weeks to fill out the ballot if that's certainly a voting block.